Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Creative Warrior online programs powered by Vidyadhan. Yes, today on this beautiful morning of 11th of August, we are going to talk about OTT platforms. Yes, here we have Mr. Pushpesh Singh ji, a Vice President Sales at Z5, who will be telling you about trends defining the future of OTT industry. Mr. Singh is a vice president at sales at Z5 with over 15 years of experience in sales and advertising. In his career, he has worked with companies like Z Entertainment, NDTV, LinkedIn, Yahoo, Times of India, and many more. He is also a career and life coach, and his passion in life is to transform young professionals to become a better version of themselves. So let's welcome Pushpesh Singh sir. Pushpesh sir, thank you
Hi,
so
Pooja.
much for accepting this invitation to join us here on the webinar. Plus, thank you so much for being a part of our monthly magazine Media Talkback.
Awesome. Thanks, Pooja, and thanks for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts and ideas with everyone. And I also want to thank Vidyadan as well as the Media and Entertainment Skills Councils to give this opportunity. And hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing fine. You are all keeping yourself safe and healthy. We'll just not take much of your time, and we'll start. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, sir. But I request if you can make it a full screen mode.
Yes, I'll just do that.
Excellent.
Awesome. So, the topic today, as Pooja mentioned, is the trends defining the future of OTT industry. And to start with, I would like to spend some time in terms of understanding what exactly is OTT and why it is called as over-the-top entertainment. What it means when we say it is over the top. So OTT actually is a means of providing television and film content over the internet. So it's a service offered directly to viewers via the internet. OTT actually bypasses the cable broadcast as well as satellite television platform, and that is why it is called as over the top. Now we spend some time in terms of the evolution of OTT platforms, how OTT platforms have evolved from where they started and where they are now. And to be very honest, the journey is not very long. It's just in 2016 where OTTs actually came into picture and have started the growth trajectory from 2016 onwards. In just 5 years, OTT today is the talk of the town. Everyone is kind of moving towards OTT. So the journey started while the first structured Indian OTT platform was launched by Big Flix, which was released by Reliance Entertainment back in 2008. And 2 years afterwards, DigiVive released India's first OTT cellular app, referred to as Next GTV. It was the first app to live stream IPL matches. And then after 2 years from that, in 2012, Eros International launched Eros Now, which actually became quite famous. After that, Star India officially launched Hotstar on 11th February 2015, coinciding with the 2015 IPL. And since the time Hotstar got the IPL rights, I think it has become really, important for all the sports lovers who are hooked to the sports content on OTT. The American giants Netflix and Amazon Prime entered the India market in 2016. And at the same time, Woot was launched in 2016 itself from the digital arm of Viacom 18. Also wanted to talk about a regional platform, which is Hoichoi. It was the first dedicated regional language OTT service. This was launched in 2017. So that's how the evolution of OTT platforms started. And you can see where we have reached in just 5 to 6 years now. Now, if we talk about the OTT growth, the growth has been phenomenal. It has been really exponential in last 5 to 6 years. India is currently the world's fastest growing OTT industry, and it's all set to emerge as the world's sixth largest by 2024. The market is expected to grow at a CAGR of 28.6% over the next 4 years to touch revenues of 2.9 billion. The factors of spontaneous growth are many, but if I have to put down few of them in front of you, they will be: the first is the urbanization and westernization of the population. This urbanization has helped a lot. It is not no more just a tier one cities phenomena. It is now in tier two, tier three, tier four cities, and the westernization is happening quite fast in our country. The other one is access to digital services. Now everyone has an access to digital services like smartphones, tablets, laptops, smart TVs. And if you talk about just smartphones, now you can get a smartphone in your tier 3, tier 4 cities in as low as 3,000 rupees. So the access as well as the cost of digital services has helped a lot to not just tier 1 city audience, but tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 city audiences as well. The infrastructure has evolved a lot in last 5 to 10 years in our country, and that has helped OTT as well to grow the way it is growing. Also wanted to highlight that the internet penetration, thanks to platforms like Geo, which has helped the internet penetration in rural markets go really, really, really wide, which has resulted in even rural market audience consuming OTT platforms on their smartphones. And another major reason is the increase in disposable income. Ultimately, when if you have to buy a OTT plan, or you have to buy a handset, or you have to buy a subscription, you need money for that. And in our country, that there has been increase in disposable income for middle class, lower middle class, as well as high class, and that has resulted in lot many people going after OTT for entertainment. If we dwell further in terms of the growth of OTT and in terms of the reasons of growth, we will find that the growing popularity and increased usage of OTT platforms are aided with various benefits. And if we have to name some of the benefits, are first one is connectivity. OTT platforms are easy to use. OTT platforms requires only minimum things to use to access. It actually requires only a stable internet connection and a device. It can be a mobile phone, it can be a laptop, it can be a tablet. That's it. The second one is cost friendliness. OTT platforms are cost friendly in compared to the traditional TV connection. The content which you can get on TV cable for a premium costly package is actually accessible on OTT for a minimal price. So the pricing matters a lot. OTT free subscriptions and the low cost has helped the audience to go for it in a much more, a faster manner. Convenience, that's another important factor. OTT platforms allows you to access your favorite media content whenever, wherever, and as often as you want to. It is not an appointment entertainment. It is like anywhere, anytime, entertainment for you. Also, considering physical requirements for cable TV based on location, OTT allows freedom over geographic location. It doesn't matter whether you are at your home. It doesn't matter whether you are in in an airline. You can watch OTT content anywhere. You can even download the OTT content and watch it offline as well. The variety of content is another big factor when it comes to the reasons of growth. The OTT services, one can access hundreds and thousands of movies and shows. Also, it's not just about the movies and shows. The various kind of content is there on OTT platform, whether it is news or sports or kids entertainment and much more. Thanks to the OTT, users can watch and enjoy most content from other countries as well. You can sit here and watch any country's content while you are here in India. So this variety of content actually gives another reason why people, more and more youngsters, as well as people who are millennials and above, even the guys who are 45 plus, are consuming OTT content. Now, from a OTT platform usage perspective, if we have to see what kind of reasons are there for tremendous growth in OTT platform, they will be as follows. Like I mentioned, first one is convenience. It is a anytime, anywhere viewing. You can watch OTT content anytime. You can watch it anywhere. The second one is privacy. You watch what you want to watch separately. You can watch your favorite content at your home, at your office, at anywhere, at a cafeteria. Your son can watch his kind of content. Your wife can watch her like of content. Your parents can watch their content. Everyone can watch the kind of content they want to watch in their own privacy, which was not the case for television, which was more towards the family viewing. The next is choice of content, choice of time, and choice of platform. It is like choice of what, when, and where. You have the choice of what kind of content you want to watch. You have the choice what time you want to watch. and you have the choice on which platform you want to watch. You want to watch it mobile, you want to watch it on TV, you want to watch it on desktop. You have all those flexibilities with OTT. And remember, friends, language is no longer a barrier, as there is a video content for almost every language now, making OTTs universally accessible. Another big reason, which we spoke earlier as well, is a personalized as well as local content. That personalized content and the algorithm with which OTT work really help the users to watch content of their choice. If I'm more of a sports enthusiast and if I'm watching more of sports content, the platform will automatically program and suggest me content which is related to my interest. If somebody else is more into edgy content, he will get more interest in, he will get more suggestions in terms of edgy content. So the personalized content delivery happens on OTT, which excites the user much more. And along with personalized, it is a local content as well. As per a research by IHS, market, they have reported that 76% of people actually, like availability of localized content as a critical factor behind choosing the OTT as a platform. Now, as we were speaking, OTT is no more just a Hindi or an English language phenomena. It is, across. It is present across in regional space. So, as per a recent study, 90% of Indian viewers actually prefer watching regional content language on the OTT platforms. They are more comfortable. They really like the regional language content on the platform. Hindi language content accounted for around more than 50% of the overall streaming. So Hindi still leads the chart in terms of the overall streaming which happens on the OTT platforms. And you'll be surprised that when it comes to the English content, it's only 7% of the total time spent on OTT platforms, which is on the English content. Now talking about the OTT consumers, what kind of consumers behavior and they have. According to Counterpart Research, 89% of OTT users in India are under the age of 35 years, which means OTT still is a youth phenomena. It is majorly kind of consumed by youth who are less than 35 years. And also it is still more of a metro phenomena, as 5 metro cities actually account for 55% of OTT users. That is also because of the speed of internet connectivity, the penetration of internet, and the accessibility of smartphones is much more in the top metros as compared to the other cities. About 65% of people from top metros actually consume Netflix or Amazon Prime. So the American giants, they still have a hold in the Indian ecospace of OTT, as more than 65% of people from these top 5 metros are consuming the content on Netflix or Amazon Prime. Now, talking about the youth who are the core TG of OTT, and as I mentioned, more than 89% of users are actually less than 35 years of age. Let's understand more about these youth audience and OTT platforms. There are almost an equal majority of youth who use OTT platforms both occasionally as well as weekly. And majority of the youth uses a single platform regularly, and the next large group of these youth use 2 platforms regularly, which means you have to be in that top 2 in terms of consideration. If you're not in the top 2, you will be out of the consideration for the youth, because they are consuming only one or to the max 2 OTT platforms at the same time. Majority of the youth are influenced by the social media to use the OTT platforms, and followed by the peer influence, which is becoming the next big factor. And yes, I can see that, every more majority of the youth, I should say, is there on social media. They're even talking about the OTT content. They're influenced by OTT content, and what kind of content is being watched by their friends, their colleagues, matters a lot when they decide what kind of content they want to watch. So user friendliness of the OTT platform is one of the most influential benefit for the youth to come on the platform, followed by the flexibility in usage of these platforms. So one is the friendliness, and second is the kind of flexibility it provides, anytime, anywhere, any content. That is the max of the flexibility any entertainment platform can provide you. Youth actually loves binge watching, and I'm sure people who are watching this webinar, we all do some kind of binge watching, depending upon our taste and interest. And binge watching has become the new typical weekend plan among young people. And when we talk about the teenagers, they are mostly agnostic about the medium, but they are very selective about quality programming. They are really want that there should be a quality programming which excites to them. They are also very active and articulate on social platforms about their favorite shows and binge viewing practices. They talk about what they liked on different shows. They talk about what kind of shows have excited them, what kind of shows they would recommend on social media platforms. So binge watching, guys, is not just about convenience and customization, but it's also about cultural unification, connection, and community, as it bonds people through their shared experiences. Binge watching is a shared experience. You watch a content, and you will the very next day you will be sharing it on your social media with your friends, and that's how the virality of content happens with the word of mouth. That's the benefit of binge watching. Now, another segment which we sometimes forget, on OTT space is OTT and the kids education, or I can say edutainment. When I say edutainment, I mean to say education with entertainment. And this is a really big market. It's a huge market in kids genre, which still not all OTTs have leverage to the full potential. However, both international players like Pogo, Cartoon Network, Discovery Kids, as well as homegrown Indian brands like Woot Kids, Hangama Kids, Z5 Kids are fighting for a share of market for this specific segment of kids education and entertainment. Even the edtech platforms such as Udemy, An Academy, and Byju's have posted an 82.73% increase in time spent, along with 122% increase in engagement and 25% increase in terms of increase in the DA views. So everyone is getting a lot of traction in terms of the kids education content as well. Moving next, the biggest benefit of OTT as a platform is its variety. It makes sense for a kid. It makes sense for a youngster. It makes sense for a teenager. It makes sense for a millennial. It makes sense for a senior citizen. Everyone OTT content makes sense because they have so much of content which can make sense for each or any of the group. What I have tried to do is, if you put some genres and map it with the age group, you will find the romance is mostly consumed by age group of 24 to 34 year age group. Drama, crime, thriller, and reality excites almost everyone. Action and adventure movies are excited mostly by 34 to 45 years of age group people. Documentaries again by 24 to 45. Movies all across all age audience depending upon the kind of movie, of course. TV shows is more about the youth. Young audience between 18 to 34 are more glued to the TV shows. Kids content obviously 6 to 13 years age group, and sports is across 18 to 45. Everyone loves sports, everyone loves cricket. Now, there are some reasons from a user's perspective why we see so much of growth from users' point of view. What is that thing which is exciting the users to come on the OTT platform? And these are some of the factors. The first one is free subscriptions. A lot of OTT players are actually offering free subscriptions to their users. So user can just subscribe free of cost and watch the content of their choice without paying anything. And then there are certain platforms which are doing a mix of both. For example, Z5 allows users to access some shows for free, whereas the premium shows are paid. So it's a mix of both kind of content. And as per a study, 29% of consumers actually prefer to watch movies in the free online streaming sites. So free subscription is one of the majority factor why youngsters as well as people who are new to the platform are coming to the OTT platforms. The second one is pricing and the advertising. 23% of young audience said in a survey that they would rather pay a lower fees and watch 1 to 3 ads. So they are fine with watching few ads, but they would rather pay a lower fees for getting that particular content. And except for Netflix and Amazon Prime Video, all other OTT offer ad-supported content, which means all the other OTT platforms are actually advertising and showing ads to the users and then charging lesser amount of money, except Amazon Prime and Netflix. The next thing which excites the youngsters are free trial. Lot of platforms are kind of offering free trials. For example, Netflix allow users to try their service for free during the initial few months, and then the subscription starts. Some telecom players also offer free trials of OTT platforms as part of their offerings. So free subscriptions, pricing, and free trial are three most important components of what is exciting the users to come on OTT platforms and try the content. Now comes the big fight. which is the OTT versus TV, which is the shift which we are seeing in last 4 to 5 years. The video on demand OTT services don't maintain any particular time slot for shows and series. And with the help of these OTT series services, you can watch your favorite shows anytime and anywhere. That is one of the biggest advantage of OTT. Even my mother at my house, she watches her favorite show on Z5, and she has moved from the Z TV to Z5 because she wants to watch it at her own time, at her own convenience. She watches it on mobile, continues it on the television. So this kind of appointment viewing is becoming a thing of a past, and more flexibility is what users demand when it comes to entertainment. Also, it's also about the limited and quality video content. Unlike the Indian TV video content, these OTT platform services have shows restricted to a limited number of episodes rather than going on for several years. That is another major factor where people are more excited about the OTT content. Also, the content abstains from the repetition of themes, something that's often witnessed in TV based content. Download and watch later. The option of downloading from OTT platforms and then watching later whenever they face a poor connectivity, that is another good feature of OTT, which allows users to watch the content even when the internet connectivity is not there. Now, talking a little bit on in terms of the impact of COVID and the OTT platforms. So the COVID-19 pandemic and the resulting lockdown has caused people to stay at home, which has led to the rise in subscriber to these OTT platforms. The problem was what to do when you are at home, how to entertain. You can't just be working and working. So OTTs actually came into picture, and they entertained in almost all age group of audience during this pandemic, during this lockdown. Coronavirus led lockdown impeded the theatrical experience as well, and that's why filmmakers are even taking the new releases to OTT platforms. One such recent example is Radhe, which got released on Z5 and which caused a lot of traction on the platform with people watching that particular movie on this OTT platform. Streaming services are estimated to have spent more than 5,100 crore in India during last 2020, because of the pandemic. As per various research reports of Research Dive, the compounded annual growth rate for OTT industry before the pandemic was around 16%, and post-pandemic is around 19%, which means pandemic actually benefited the OTT industry. OTT industry actually filled the void which was caused by people not going to the malls and theaters. Moving next, like I was talking about the shift from cinemas to OTT, with lot many movies now getting released on OTT platforms. Due to the coronavirus pandemic, all the new releases are now happening on OTT, and people are actually finding it much convenient to watch the new shows, new movies at a convenience of their time and platform rather than scheduling a time and going to the theaters. And I'm very sure in years to come as well, the film industry will find it challenging to drive audiences to the theaters. It will be very tough for the film industry to drive back the audience to theaters, who will be now habitual of watching their favorite movies, their favorite shows at the convenience of their time, at the convenience of their platform. Also, many actors, writers, and technicians who have previously worked on television argued that the over reliance on soap opera limited their ability to express creativity. Amazon has invested about one fourth of its 2000 crore budget to collaborate with Indian production houses and digital content creators, including influential filmmakers. That means OTT players are actually investing a lot in making quality content, in making innovative content, rather than just repeating the same content again and again. There is a lot of competition in OTT space as well now. It started with just few players, but today we have more than 40 players in the OTT space. And just like the smartphone segment, the OTT space in this country is facing a tussle between the home ground players and the global players. There are nearly 40 OTT providers in India as of now, and at the rate in which new players are springing up, the number is expected to reach 100 by 2023. While local players like Hotstar and Z5 has gained a stronger footing in the domestic market, global platforms like Netflix and Amazon Prime have also steadily grown their market share in the country. If you talk about some of the top OTT platforms in our country, they will be Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Hotstar, Z5, Sony Live, Voot, Alt Balaji, MX Player, and Hoichoi. These are some of the top platforms which are consumed by the audience in India. Now let's spend some time in terms of what kind of time spent happened on the OTT platforms across OTTs. Due to the pandemic situation, the average time spent by Indian OTT subscribers has actually increased from 20 minutes to 50 minutes to now 1 hour in current time. About 49% of India's youth spend 2 to 3 hours watching content online. That's the kind of traction they have gained on OTT. And if you compare the time spent, on different platforms as per the recent study, you will find people who have spent more than 9 hours, between 9 to 21 hours of their time on OTT. It's led by Z5 with 43% of the share. Also, people who have spent around close to more than 21 hours of time, it's led by Z5, Alt Balaji, and Amazon Prime. In another segment of 3 to 9 hours, it is also led by Z5, where 26% of the audience are actually spending approximately uh, you know uh, 3 to 9 hours of duration on the OTT content on Z5. Now comes the OTT and telecom players, how they are synced together, how they are bonded together, and how they are able to provide value to the customer. India's telecom price war is back after a hiatus, and the battle is being fought on the freebies. At rupees 6.7 per gigabyte, the average cost of mobile data in India is the cheapest in the world. And telecom carriers are offering incentives such as subscriptions to services from Netflix to Amazon Prime to Z5 to win customers in a content hungry market. For example, Reliance Jio Infocom has announced a new 399 rupee plan for postpaid users. Besides 75 GB of data, customers get access to Netflix on a mobile device and a 1 year subscription to two more OTT applications. And it's not just Reliance, whether it is Airtel or whether it is Vodafone. Everyone is coming up one or the other plan along with packaging OTT in it. Telecom players are also providing quite economical data plans for easy internet access so that people can access internet and can also consume uh, OTT content. Now, along with the good things about OTT, there are certain challenges as well, which happens with everything which you come across. So that there are challenges in OTT space as well, and if we have to name those challenges, they will be as follows. OTT became the center of debate in various aspects, such as its impact on traditional services, threat or opportunity to investors in the industry. So OTT have actually become a threat as well for many industries and for many investors as well. Copyright owners of content fear that OTT increases chance of piracy. Lot of chances of piracy are there on OTT platforms. Illegal downloading of movies and TV shows has a significant impact on the market. It is projected to cost the TV and film industry USD 551.6 billion globally, but it's on 22. Content with extreme violence, nudity, and strong language find their home in OTT because the OTT sector in India is less regulated than its counterparts like film and television. And that's why there's a debate going on the censorship of OTT content in a similar manner as that of TV and cinema to preserve the cultural and value aspect of the country. Now, let's talk a little bit in terms of the future of OTT. What exactly would be the future of OTT? Now, in my opinion, future of OTT has already arrived. We are already in the future of OTT, and it will only grow from here by leaps and bounds. As per a Zapper, which is an independent analytics company, 21% of OTT users are actually now cord cutters, which means they don't watch television at all. And believe me, guys, I am part of that particular 21% bracket. I don't watch TV at all. My TV is always on off mode, and there are around 36% of the users who are cord shavers, which means they are very light TV viewers. They watch TV very less. So this is how the shift is happening from TV to OTT. According to a recent PwC report, India is currently the world's fastest growing OTT market. and is set to become the sixth largest across the globe by 2024. The market in India is expected to grow at around 28.6% over the next 4 years, touching $2.9 billion in revenues. I also believe when Netflix arrived in India, initially OTT was only a SECA phenomena. Not everyone was ready to pay for such digital video content. But today, it is accessible to all because of the accessibility to devices, accessibility to internet penetration, and awareness about the OTT platforms. And also because of the variety of platforms and variety of content, today it is no more just a SECA phenomena. Also, with increasing internet penetration and also to some extent to COVID, it has changed the consumer mindset to go for such content which is available at the comfort of your time, medium, and choice. COVID shutting all cinema halls and theaters, people were left with no choice but OTT, which now has become a habit by choice. Focusing few more pointers in terms of the future of OTT. Now we have realized that India audience have swayed towards the OTT content. They're willing to spend for easy and unlimited access to content with a place without a place and time limitation. OTT applications are changing the media consumption patterns in India, and that's what we have realized. The shift can be attributed to convenience of service, personalized experience, and availability of global content. And future of OTT in India looks promising because of multiple factors. And we have to name few of the factors. They are the increasing smartphone penetration, the economic convergence of media companies at national and international level, the quality of reception of digital content, the competitive internet plans offered by telecom service providers in India, and so on. The another big factor around OTT is 5G. Future of OTT is very much dependent on 5G. Video consumption through OTT platform is nowhere close to slowing down. And role of 5G and telecom service providers is a big one. There's a global race to take a lead in the 5G cellular network technology today. And 5G is expected to create an opportunity for new product and service offerings. Apart from OTT, the other fast-growing segments that are benefited by 5G are online gaming and internet advertising. Along with 5G, the government's Digital India initiative is helping urban and even the most remote villages to stay connected. Now, future of OTT cannot be computed before mentioning about sports. Sports streaming is one of the reasons why many people actually come on OTT platforms. The reason for them to be on OTT platforms is because of sports. Streaming live sports, especially cricket, has turned out to be the critical differentiator in India's OTT space, as shown by Hotstar. It is estimated that users spend on an average 30 to 35 minutes on watching sports on OTT platforms. And Sony Live is another player who is picking up fast in terms of sports rights. So sports is one of the reasons why a lot of youth come and get hooked to OTT platforms. Regional language content, like we spoke earlier as well, regional language content plays a vital role in terms of why people are coming to OTT platforms. India as a country is not a single market, and that we need to realize. It's a combination of multiple markets, each with its unique characteristics. The regional language speaking internet users are growing faster than the Hindi and English speaking user base. Localized content shows uptakes in terms of engagement as viewers always prefer to consume content in their own language. I think that's a global phenomenon. A Chinese would prefer to like a content in China, in Chinese language. In American will like it in English language. Similarly, we in India, we prefer in our own native language. So OTT players are investing more on producing content in other languages besides Hindi and English, and mostly in the other major eight Indian languages. There's a lot of content which is being created in the other 8 Indian languages. Hoichoi, which is an all Bengali content streaming platform, saw an 85% growth in traffic year on year from 76,000 to 140,000 in March 2019. That's the kind of growth which is happening on vernacular content. The focus of OTT platforms has now shifted from urban use to the mass market. And the inclusion of regional content has paved the way of mass market adoption as opposed to the initial niche offering. In terms of the regional contents, as we know that OTT market is further diversifying a lot into vernacular and genre based platforms. Even that's a good thing for marketers as well. They get an opportunity to reach and target their audience in a much more hyper targeted manner, so that they are able to communicate their brand message to relevant audience in their own language. There are some of the There are multiple regional OTT platforms which are coming up. I want to name few of them which are quite popular. Hoichoi is right at the top, followed by Aha, Sun Next, City Shore, Stream, Kude, Heroes, Watcho, Adda Times, Real Drama, Manorama Max. These are some of the other regional language content providers. Now, as everything is expanding, even the business models are expanding in OTT space, and there are different business models on which different OTTs are working. The first one is SVOD, which means subscription video on demand, which means there is revenue generated only through subscription with no advertisements at all. So the perfect example of these are Netflix and Amazon Prime, where the revenue is just generated through subscription and no ads are shown to people who are consuming the content. It is again called as SVOD, subscription video on demand. Then comes AVOD, advertising video on demand, which means revenue is generated pure play through advertising. And there are a lot of options to that. For example, Z5, Sony Live, Hotstar are all examples of AVOD models where they have both the things. They have SVOD, where there are certain part of the content which is only viewed through a subscription mode, where there are no ads shown, and they have AVOD content, which is a free content, but the revenue is generated through ads. Then there is something called as TVOD. It's just opposite to subscription video, where consumers purchase content on a pay-per-view basis. For example, this Radhe release, which happened on Z5, it was on TVOD, where people actually bought in before to watch the content. It is like pay-per-view basis. And then there is a concept coming up as B2B2C, which means accessing OTT platform via telcos, via Airtel Wing, Geo apps, etc. So that's how as we talk, there are multiple more business models which are coming into picture in OTT space. Now, when we talk about the future of OTT, better devices for content consumption is one of the main reasons why people are hooked to OTT content. And apart from smartphones, tablets are another promising device for online video consumption. But India has only around 5.3% penetration of tablet devices, and it is expected to increase to only 10% by 2022. This low penetration is actually a missed opportunity, as tablets offer relatively larger screens which are better for consuming HD content. However, when it comes to smartphones, the penetration is pretty high. And even in rural India, you can get a 3,000 to 5,000 rupees smartphone and consume OTT content there. Smart TVs are other amazing devices where, much like smartphones and tablets, you get internet connectivity and support for a range of apps, including OTT apps. And now, with brands like Xiaomi, they are coming up with smart TVs which are much more economical and costing, and which can be afforded by almost everyone. You can get a smart TV in just 10,000 rupees as well today. In case of future of OTTs, there are a lot of new global players who are entering the Indian space. And to name some of them, first one is Stars, which is a leading premium global streaming platform launched in India last December. The app comes with a huge catalog of the studio, which already has a set fan base in the market. Other one is Apple TV Plus. The streaming platform is gradually making its place in the Indian market. Apple is reportedly spending 6 billion on its initial lineup of TV shows, documentary series, and other originals for its streaming service. The other big player which is coming to Indian market, or which has already arrived in the market, is Discovery Plus. The streaming service by Discovery was launched in India in March 2020, and they have planned more than 200 new local and global titles. The unique thing about Discovery Plus is edutainment content, which is revolving around adventure, wildlife, travel, and lifestyle. Along with Indian produced originals, it will also launch other Indian titles like Amma and Appa, The Indian Dream Hotel, etc. Another big platform which has not yet come in Indian market is HBO Max. The Warner Media backed streaming service is expected to make its way into India this year with its vast library of content. They have revivals and reunions of legacy series like Friends, Sex and the City, True Blood, and Gossip Girl. Internationally, they don't offer free trial, but not giving a free trial in India can actually work against them. So there are few suggestions, which I have with respect to the OTT space, and which are as follows. The OTT platforms actually should recommend its users with new and fresh content. Any OTT which loses this path of continue to generate fresh content will lose its charm as well. Better and effective subscription plans are to be introduced to cope up with the need of majority of users who are occasionally consuming OTT platforms. The relationship between the streaming platform and the consumers are to be strengthened through collection of critical user feedback, which would allow to maintain service excellence and retain subscribers. Getting feedback is very, very important. You need to get feedback so that you can become much more better. Advertising should not be an interference, and it should be targeted to the interest of the users seeing them, so that it becomes very, very relevant for the users while they see the ads. The consumer should be made aware about the negative impact of sharing login details with others and also implement steps for resisting the same. Now here comes the conclusion when it comes to our entire discussion on OTT space. Video streaming has become one of the most successful avenues in the content consumption space in India. And even the smaller OTT platforms are raising capital from international investors and making significant impact on the market. The smartphone is the most common device for OTT video content consumption, and Xiaomi is one of the most famous smartphone brand among OTT users. Just Geo is the most popular networking service among OTT users, followed by Airtel and Vodafone Idea. And Hotstar has the highest penetration of non-paying OTT users. But while we conclude, we also have to keep in mind one thing, that the emergence of OTT would harm the penetration of cable TV in India. And therefore, traditional TV station should prepare for a paradigm shift brought on by OTT platforms. They should work towards making the high quality content so that they can compete with the material that is available on OTT. Though the consumption of video on digital platform is on the rise in country, television is still the largest sub-segment within the entertainment and media industry and will continue to be that way. The Indian television industry is poised to grow to the extent of 22,000 million USD in 2022 at a CAGR of 10% or more. According to Dollar India 2019 study, television and appointment viewing will continue for another 10 years minimum. So that's all what I wanted to share with you in terms of OTT and the future of OTT. And I really want to thank Vidya Dan as well as the Media and Skills Council for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful presentation. You have given us so much insight on OTT platforms and the trends and how the trends are changing. I've got a question and it's asked by Lakshmi Tripathi. He's asking, sir, how do you reach out to the local indie creators? Or do they come to you or you connect with them? How do you get the content on your platform?
So it happens actually both ways. One is we have the priority to create local content. So what we try to figure out, who are the local star filmmakers, who are the local heroes, and how we can associate with them. So that is the one way, which is a proactive way from our platform, where we reach out to local heroes. We try to do our research in terms of who are the ones who are respected locally within the region, who are the ones who have got talent and skill sets. That is one approach. Second is even the local players are actually also reaching us, whether they are filmmakers, whether they are actors, whether they are script writers. They are also reaching us because they also know that we are somebody who is giving a lot of preference to local content, and we can work together and create much more better stories together.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you so much. And this is what wants me to say, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, that we all are celebrating on this occasion of our Independence Day coming up on 15th, we have already started our Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, and this OTT platform thing is like Azadi, a complete freedom from the time, from the restrictions of, the time zone or a space. You can watch it everywhere, anywhere, anytime, and on any device. So this is also makes
I
me feel
completely
like
agree with you.
Azad.
True, true. I completely agree with you. Yeah, that's
Right.
another form of azadi.
Yes, sir. So thank you so much for this wonderful session. I'm sure the audience loved it, and this is one of the happening thing, the OTT, which is in huge demand, and it's going to grow in big numbers, in multiples,
It is
very
surely
soon.
gonna happen. Yeah. Thanks, Pooja. Thanks for the
Yes.
opportunity. Thank
Thank
you
you
very
so
much.
much for your time, sir. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow with another session. So stay